This is an RC Allen 805 adding machine. I want to give a quick tutorial on how to use it. These things are used for calculating finances. That's why the numbers are color-coded the way they are, so you can quickly find the number values you're trying to type in. These two black key rows are for coins. The white keys are for dollar values up to 1,000. The black keys are for dollar values over 1,000. So if you want to add $100, you'll notice there's no zeros at the bottom. That's to save time. It assumes everything is a zero because zero is the most commonly typed number in finance. So you can just type the 1 right there, and that'll add $100. Or you could type the 1 here and add 10. If you were, you had a $1 expense, you could just type the minus key, the 1, and it'll subtract $1 from that. And it prints in red. It prints gains in black and losses in red, or you could say profits in black and expenses in red, because if you're doing your monthly expenses and profits, if you're typing those in for your business, you can just add up however much you sold, subtract whatever your expenses are, and if your grand total's in black, you're profitable. If it's in red, you're in the red and you're losing money. So I mean, that's where those terms come from, back in black and in the red. That's how the plus and minus keys work. Multiplication, that's for if you're selling an item, a bunch of items that cost the same amount. If you got two items that you sold that cost $25, you could hit the 25, press the multiplication key, pull it, and it locks the number in place. You can pull it twice and it'll add it up twice, or it'll multiply it twice. And then when you're done multiplying, you got to remember to pop that key up and then hit clear. Clears in case you make a mistake. So if you go to type in 65, but you actually meant to type in 56, before you pull the crank, you could always just hit clear and fix it, and it pops the keys back up for you. So that's how this adding machine works. I think that's about everything. There's a non-add button, so you can type numbers in without it adding or subtracting from your total. I think hotels would use that for like room numbers. Like if they made a certain amount from like room 45, they could just press the non-add button, type 45, and it would print 45 on there with an N at the end, so you know that number didn't get added to the total at the bottom. Another good feature is if you're doing monthly expenses and you want to know how much you made during the week, after you add and subtract everything for that week, you can hit your subtotal button, and it'll record on your receipt what your subtotal was for that week. This is a viewfinder that shows you the running tally as you go. But basically that is so that you have it recorded on the receipt. So as this number keeps increasing, you still have it recorded for what you made that week. And then you can keep adding money after that. And this number will still keep going up, but you'll still have it recorded. And then at the end of it all, what's that, 200? I mean, you just keep adding money. 5,000, you can just keep adding money, and then when it's all said and done, when you're ready to add everything up for the final total, one thing about this machine you have to know is, I believe before you do subtotal, I don't know about grand total, you have to cycle it one time. That's I think that's to make sure everything's cleared, like you don't have a button pressed or something, and then you hit your grand total. They make this so that you can do it all with your thumb and your hand, with one hand. It'll print your grand total this way. And this, if you look at the receipt, shows your grand total right there. That's with that asterisk after it. And then your subtotal is still recorded up here with an S after it. And then the non-add number has an N after it, so it didn't add that number to it. And then, of course, you see how it does your subtraction in red and your addition in black. So anyway, that's how the machine works. One last thing you need to know about it is if you're in the middle of adding and subtracting and you got to go on your lunch break, this arm just pops right off and pops right back on. You can lock this in your drawer, and then nobody can come along here and start typing in numbers and pulling your crank and messing up your subtotal and your total and all that, you know, messing up your tally. And when you come back from your lunch break, this thing just clicks right back in place. So that's how it works. Probably one of the most intuitive, best adding machines I've ever used. Everything is really simple. They still use regular ribbon and paper that you can buy at your local Office Depot or wherever. It's a great machine. There's no cords or anything, no electricity needed. It all works by this hand crank. Anyway, hope you have a great day.